I'm Matthew Blackford and this is my Unit 19.2 performance profile, and I'm analysing the player Ryan Dakin. He's not with me at the moment and I will be providing this feedback to him in person. I'm going to start off with some of the technical and tactical sides of his performance. First of all, I am going to analyse his shooting. During the match he had he had a total of 2 shots and he scored with both of these shots. That provides him with a shot percentage of 100%. What I would like to comment on about his shooting is they were both quite close range shots, meaning that you have the 18-yard box and both of his goals came from within the 6-yard box, within the 18-yard box, and they were both scored using an open goal, which means that there was not much skill needed to execute the shots. I feel like Ryan Dakin, during his performance, he could take a few more ambitious shots, so rather than just being in close range, he had a few opportunities where he chose to pass the ball rather than shooting, and I feel like if he was a little bit more aware of his surroundings and his game, he'd be able to have had a few more shots and hopefully troubled the keeper a little bit more rather than just having the 2 shots in a 90-minute match. Yeah, as I said, but the 2 shots he did score with, he hit the corner of the goal, and well, that's as much as you can ask for from a decent shot. If you're hitting the corner of the goal, the keeper's less likely to be able to save it, and you can have more chance of scoring with it. So overall, his shooting was quite good. I'd probably score him about a 7 out of 10, and if he had the more ambitious shots, then he'd have the more potential to reach higher levels with his shooting. Next, we have the passing. His passing during the game was quite disappointing from a personal point of view, and as I'm analysing it, he attempted a total of 11 passes and he completed 7 of these. That has given him a pass completion rate of 63%. So yeah, as I've wrote in my comment section, the passing was average. There were some poor passes which could be worked on. For example, you had passes such as 5-yard passes to his teammates, and these were going off and they were hit too hard or hit too soft and the opposition were able to intercept them. For his passing, I'd recommend working on a few drills with these. So you can set up a box of cones, for example, and you just have 2 people, you need a partner, and a box of cones, and then probably 15 yards away you have another player, and the main goal is to pass the ball from your set of cones straight into their set of cones so it doesn't miss the cones and doesn't miss them out, it goes straight into their box. This will help work on his accuracy of passing and also his weight of pass. For example, if the pass is too soft in that drill, it's not going to reach the box and it's obviously not going to work very well. So yeah, if he completes that drill, then you'll be able to see his passing improve, hopefully, so you can have an overall passing success rate a lot higher. Another drill which he could probably use is his long range passing, because during the match his long range passing wasn't the greatest. There was a few passes in there which were underhit and overhit likewise and hit too hard, and they failed to reach the partner on his team. So for the long range passing, what I'd recommend is if he stood around the centre of a pitch or just set up in a field, if he then set some cones roughly 20 to 30 yards away, and he sets like a target area, almost a target area for cones, and then he gets a few balls and he tries to play the ball into the target area where there's a player waiting to receive the pass. This will hopefully improve his overall long range passing. The next technical and tactical skill which I'm going to analyse is Dakin's dribbling. During the match, he only attempted 3 dribbles. This is quite a poor number of dribbles, and I would expect somebody to, during a match, take on a few more and be more confident in their ability to take people on. So he took 3 dribbles in the match, and 2 of these were successful. This leaves him with around a 66% dribbling success rate. However, I've noted down from the performance that the dribbling was good take-ons and he showed dribbling ability. However, there was a few more occasions in the match where he had chances to take other people on, and he, rather than taking them on, he chose a pass when that was perhaps not best option. So what I would recommend for this is when doing a few training sessions, when he is on the ball, to be more confident, more alert to the situation, and when he's 1v1 against players like he was in the match, actually try and take them on rather than passing and choosing a different option, because by taking the player on 1v1 that can then create better goal scoring opportunities, and that will allow the team to be more successful as they will score more goals. Yeah, also on the dribbling side of the game, his feet, he showed quick feet, and he was able to move the ball quickly amongst his feet. However, he did not take the players on. So whilst he had good dribbling for his own around his feet, he moved the ball quickly and well with his own feet. He did not take players on, so he wasn't really he wasn't very confident in his ability to take players on, but he was confident in his ability with the ball at his feet. So what I'd recommend is him then taking the dribbling ability which he has at his feet to the next level and taking players on whilst using the dribbling ability at his feet. The physiological part of his performance, his heart rate before exercise was 54, which is quite a good low heart rate. Shows that he's quite fit, and he has, after speaking to the client, he said that he does quite a lot of cardiovascular fitness work and cardio work in the gym, and also quite a few runs he does to ensure that his fitness is at a good level. And as shown before exercise, a 54 heart rate shows this level is really good. After exercise, his heart rate rose to 98. Now this is what I'd probably say that this is quite a poor heart rate after exercise, because I'd probably be looking for around the 120 to 130 to ensure that he was working in his target zone. However, this 98 shows that during the performance he was perhaps didn't work as hard. He played in the striker position, which means that he didn't track back as much. And on the video, there's a few moments in the match where you see that he's not exactly. Here we go. I've got it written down at 507 in the clip. Rather than tracking back, he loses the ball, and rather than running back, he stands there and moans at another player. So I think during the game there was a few more moments like this. If he had then tracked back, got him to position and helped the team defend, rather than just being an attacking threat, his heart rate, and he would have worked a lot harder and achieved them target zones, which would then increase his target cardiovascular fitness likewise. Moving on to his breathing rate. Before exercise he had a breathing rate of 23, and then after exercise this was 34. So that is a raise of 11 breaths per minute. This shows that he's worked a little bit hard. He could, if he wanted to put in a greater shift during the match, you would probably see a breathing rate around the 40 zone, because you'd be like this, and that would show that your breathing has reached to higher levels and reached newer heights. Yeah, for his breathing rate, I would say that it was once again 34, and that shows, like I talked about in the heart rate, he didn't track back in the game as much. So maybe in training to then make him more aware of how his positioning can increase the team's chances of winning. For example, if he drops in a hole, if you're holding a formation, he's the furthest player forward. If he drops back so that he's behind the ball from the opposition, and he then covers the space and screens the midfield, he can then intercept any passes which are trying to break the lines, and this will then encourage him to work a lot harder during the game. And if he's working harder, he's more likely to achieve great success, as his mind frame's not switched off during matches of defending. The physical side of the performance profile I've got is his 30-metre sprint score came out at 4.36 seconds. This sprint score is in the average for his age group. This means that his sprinting abilities, he's quite quick, however he's not overly quick and not overly slow. That means during the match, as I've got written down here, there was points where through balls were played to him and he was able to get on the end of them and make chances from these. This gave him the chance to score goals and set other teammates up. If he wanted to work on his sprint score and try and achieve a higher sprinting score for the 30-metre sprint test, and also then take that sprinting ability into the match, what I would recommend is he sets up, he does plyometrics and stuff like that, so that he can sprint and achieve greater muscle ability, so that when he uses his muscles, they're more adapted and more quick and ready to execute the skills which he requires. So for example, if you set up cones with probably 5 to 10 metres in between each one, he then does shuttle sessions with these cones. So he sprints to the first cone, comes back, sprints to the second, comes back, sprints to the third, comes back. This will help improve his overall sprint speed if he repeats this drill over and over weekly. As long as he makes improvements to the drill and makes it a harder difficulty or intensity, for example, he adds more cones into the drill, that would then increase the workload that he is having to take part in, and this will then help him to not only maintain his sprint speed but also improve it and reach higher heights. So yeah, that is my performance profile done for Dakin on the skills. I'm now going to talk about a few parts in the game which I felt he did well at, or felt that he could have done better at. So at 1 minute and 50 seconds into the game, he kept running it inside rather than staying wide on the pitch. This then meant that his teammates didn't have as much space through the midfield of the pitch, and if he had kept wide, if he stayed wider on the pitch, he'd have more chance of receiving the ball as it stretches the opposition defence. For this, I'd recommend his coach or having a word with his coach to talk more about his positional skills, because his overall game was very good. However, if he can then improve in the technical side of the game, such as the positioning, he'll then have the ability to cause more threat to the opposition without having as much of an impact. So that will then create chances for his teammates to break through the middle of the pitch whilst he's out wide, distracting the defenders. At 11 minutes and 14 seconds into the video, he showed good strength and good hold-up play. The ball came into him and he used his body to back into the player. So he gets his body back into the player so that they could struggle to win the ball from his feet. He then had his arms outstretched so that the player couldn't get round him and holding him off. He then retained the ball and passed the ball out wide. So the balls came into him and the ball's been cleared from the defence, and he's made something of it by holding the defender off and playing the ball out wide to his teammate. This shows good possession and good retention of the ball, and if he then wants to reach this to a higher level, he should work on getting his arm out more stretched and getting a lower stance to the ground, because he was stood up quite upright, and because he's quite strong, he got away with it. However, he gets a lower centre of gravity, it will then be harder for the opposition to knock the ball away from him, and he will retain possession better. That's my performance profile for Ryan Dakin completed.